All right, ladies and gents, welcome to episode 2 of the Andy and Mario show. What's going on, mate? Oh, but actually, before you fucking say anything, I've got to say, I fucking really miss you, mate. It's been too long.
I miss you too. My blood pressure's just going up thinking about you.
Act like you got that there to check it, mate.
Yeah.
Better get some fucking alcohol in you to cool it down a little bit, right?
That's it. What's doing, man? What's happening?
Oh, man, what's happening? A little bit. Just came from Queensland.
True. How was it?
From the Gold Coast. Oh, mate, it was fucking sick.
Good.
Right. It was a comp. Well, it wasn't really a comp. It was a super match series. Right.
I should have gone up.
You should have come up. You should have come with your mate, Henry.
Oh, honestly, yeah. I honestly wish I was there. It honestly looked like such a good time.
It was.
And you know, it would have been pretty good with me there at the after party.
Dude, I would have made it out alive.
Would have been dangerous. Would have been dangerous.
Oh, shit. Man, your boy Henry.
Yeah.
Did really, really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Marcus.
Whatever. Yeah, well, look, it's Marcus, man. That guy, fucking weapon. Strong as fucking balls.
Yeah.
He's crazy good.
And you know when he's comfortable, he'll look at the camera, does a cheeky wink.
I know.
Just does this
fucking cheeky
dirty hit that just trebles the Earth's surface. It's
legit. Yeah, and he'll do it from an extended position too, because there's zero fucks, less than zero fucks given.
Yeah, bro.
When he launches.
He could be in a King's move and still be able to drive so hard from there.
Man, I on the after table, as a side note, I tried to commit my shoulder to that. I was like, get fucked. Not happening.
Bro,
my right side of my body would fucking go in a different direction.
Bro, I saw the after pulling. You don't have to be humble, man.
Bro, no.
Rumor has it you were playing with everyone.
Bro,
Marcus, Henry, Jordan.
No. Yeah. Well, look, Henry.
Did you take him out for ice?
Fucking tired, man.
Yeah. Did you at least take him out for ice cream after
that? We went for some beers. We went for some beers, man.
Very nice.
Any comments for that match? So I was in Henry's corner. I was just trying to guide him on a few things. I mean, first match, he even told me he was a bit. I'd like to call it lizard brain. You just go up there and you fucking have no idea what's going on.
Everything goes out the window.
You either do or you don't. Win. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I knew it was going to be a tough match for Henry, but I honestly thought he'd have more purchase in the hand and be able to potentially keep Marcus out of his power. But even when
are we talking left or right here?
Both.
Okay.
Like I honestly thought, well, especially left, but even to some degree, right? I thought that if Henry could at least keep him out of his power, he'd panic or he'd be able to gain some purchase. But even when Henry did gain control, Marcus didn't panic. He was still able to drive in subpar positions. So I take my hat off to him. Strong dude.
Oh yeah, man. I believe Henry did everything correctly. He just needs more time, more practice, and that's it.
For sure.
How long? 3 months or 4 months?
Look, he's been in the sport. Like he rocked up to 1 or 2 training sessions in South Australia last year when he lived there, and then he didn't really do anything. And then he's been to 4, 5 training sessions in Victoria. So if you're accumulating it all, he's probably got 2 months worth of training, 3 months worth of training behind his belt. And you know what? It does seem that way too.
It does seem that way.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a few matches where he hit. He got the go before Marcus.
He was hitting off the go. It was great.
Fucking.
I looked at his performance, and for the stage that he's currently at, he didn't make many mistakes at all. He did well. He held his own, and it was just 100%. A power difference. So matches like that.
Experience difference too. Experience difference.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fuck, mate. Once he ties everything together, I'm fucking scared. I'm so fucking scared.
Yeah. Well, he he looked pretty trashed by the time he got onto the after table.
He was, yeah.
Was he able to put up a fight with anyone in the after table?
No. So what he was doing is it was Jordan that sort of got him on the table and started showing him these things, like a couple of things here and there. And I did that too with him, but I believe Jordan would be the better person for that. He does have a better way of explaining things as opposed to me. I'm a bit more, what's it called? Touchy-feely in the sense of hands, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Hand, positioning, blah, blah, blah. There's no template. You got to feel it.
Yeah. Jordan's really good at not only explaining what he wants to, but he's really good at transferring that over to newbies and relaying it in layman's. So he just has a natural talent for that. So Henry could have learned a lot from Jordan
even in that afternoon, like 2 hours afterwards, you know.
Yeah.
It's good. And Henry just walked away from that even more fucking keen to arm wrestle, to train, to get better.
That's good. So you didn't have any matches there?
Me? No matches there. No matches. Well, if Henry didn't rock up, it would have been me and Marcus. So that would have been cool.
Very good.
There's a few more matches.
Start shooting some names. Who do you want to talk about?
Well, a guy called Bozo.
Bozo?
Literally his name.
That's awesome.
Also known as the Mud Crab, which is a fucking excellent nickname. Versus Joseph, I think it's Lee or Lloyd, the Hurricane. I remember his nickname. That was a good match. The reason why I say that's a good match is because Bo lost to Joseph a while back.
Yeah. And
it was a big comeback for him, and he was pretty fucking happy winning. That was really cool. It was really cool seeing that.
Yeah, for sure.
Another big one was Tim Sullivan and Greg.
Mr. Side Pressure.
Mr. fucking Side Pressure.
Yeah.
Relentless.
That was a really good match. I really enjoyed that match. It was just hand control versus side pressure.
Oh, yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Greg's instincts are really good. This guy's only, I think 3 or 4 months in. No real matches under his belt. I told him, like, one of the matches where Tim won, that's because he didn't fight for the ref script. Well, Greg didn't fight for the ref script. Told him, look, you got to get the ref script because you looked uncomfortable. He's like, what's that? How do you get that?
Man, it's crazy. Right. Like, you know, there's so many of these pullers that are coming out in the last, 6 months, and they're doing so well. It's like, I wish I had that when I started. Like, bro, when I started, I was just a next level Hmong. Like, it took me about a year just to be able to understand
Hmong.
Yeah, bro.
Fucking please explain what the fuck's a Hmong.
Just a Mongoloid. It took me that long.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah, to learn how to stay tight and stop making crucial mistakes. And then these people come in with a few months and they're moving better than I did a year in. So it puts things into perspective about how natural some of these movements are to some people. So,
well, when we came into the sport, so for me, it's exactly 5 years. So when I came to sport, I had people who already established themselves. So they knew the movements, they knew everything. So it took about, I guess, 1.5 years for me to get good.
Yeah.
And then bring it to, say, this year, or let's say last year, in this year's period, basically, I've had new guys come in and they already move like me at the 3-year mark.
Yeah.
It's every
bunch of dogs,
more, like that time gap.
Yeah. Bunch of dogs, man.
Fuck, we're just too good at fucking teaching cunts. Legit.
Yeah.
Oh, and last match, special mention to Ethan Patterson versus Ryan Parisi. That match fucking blew my mind. Ethan made all the right adjustments.
The atmosphere for that match
bro, the roof fucking flew up, mate. It was fucking gone.
How good
after that match? No, that was awesome.
Yeah,
and I can't remember. I think that was after the injury too.
All right. So I think we should bring this up.
Absolutely, yeah.
So there was an arm break at this comp, unfortunately, and it was quite a bad one at that. So do you want to just take us through what happened?
Yeah, mate. So Jason Bryce, fairly new puller, versus Ethan Tunstall, a fairly experienced puller. I think it was round 3 at the time. So Jason got into a bit of a, let's say like a semi-press off center table.
Yeah.
So we all know that's a bad position.
Yeah.
And Ethan drove, and that's when the injury or the break happened.
Yeah.
Got to say, he didn't make a sound.
Just make a sound.
He undid the strap, walked off the stage. We all crowded around him. 5-10 minutes later, he's smiling. You know, we're just waiting for the ambos.
What a champion,
bro! Hard as fucking nails.
Yeah,
I'd be crying like a bitch on stage.
No, I know.
Legit.
Yeah,
100%.
That's insane. Now, I haven't seen the footage. The only footage I have seen was moments leading up to that, which was on the Blues channel, I believe. And I heard, a lot of us have just heard the sound, which is never a nice thing. And
it's the worst.
Just out of respect for him, I think that's why the footage wasn't released. But there is a GoFundMe page up at the moment for a few reasons. So he's going to be out of work for a few months, and he has a baby on the way. So it's a really tough time for his family when he needs to be at work at the most. So there is a GoFundMe page, which we'll link in the bio.
Yeah.
Guys,
we're about I think we're just above halfway to the goal. And then obviously the more the better.
Yeah, for sure. Look, arm wrestling is a community. We're such a small world. Everybody knows everybody, and we look out for each other. So look, regardless of whether or not you know this gentleman, if you are able to, feel free just to donate.
Any amount counts.
Any amount counts for sure. But yeah, he'd really appreciate that, and it'd go a long way for him. So
man.
We'll link that in the bio.
Appreciates that.
Oh, for sure. And look, the response so far has been great. I only found out about the GoFundMe page yesterday, and just in that short amount of time, it's I think the goal's around $2,000.
It is. And I think we're at 12.
And we've already reached
something like that.
Over halfway, which is awesome. So
yeah,
anyone that can spare a few dollars, we'd really appreciate it.
Helps. Anything helps.
For sure. But yeah, we'll link that in the bio and we'll leave it there. But yeah. Any other matches you want to bring up before we move on?
Not really. It was those three that were really, really significant to me.
Yeah.
That day.
So overall, though, it was a really good comp.
It was awesome.
Yeah. And was that organised by the AAF?
No, that was organised by the Gold Coast Powerhouse Club. So that's basically Abraham Nosa, Vitaly Mateo, Gabriel Fish, and Ethan Patterson.
Yeah.
So those are the boys that are responsible for this event, and I'm sure there's others too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, quick shout out to those guys. There's some big things coming out of that side of Queensland, so it's really awesome to see.
And there's I got to say, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in the future with this club.
Man,
it's
fucking after such a shit year last year. I'm so excited, man. When you've been out of the loop for so long, and you know for a fact stuff is coming. Pencil it in. No. It's happening.
Yeah, okay.
Getting giddy.
Oh shit! You know what's happening this month?
No.
Lachlan versus Ryan, the Milkman Scott. I think it's booked for the 27th of this month. Yeah.
Is it? Wowee. So
and that was just a couple of hours ago, confirmed.
I'm sure most people know about this, but anyone that doesn't know, currently there's some controversy over who the number one overall ranked puller is in Australia. Ryan Scott holds that title to this day, but rumours are that Lockie's coming to take it. Who do you think's going to win, man?
I've said it time and time again. I'll say it again. I think it's Ryan Scott.
Yeah. Got to back my boy
he's
Ryan
just
Scott.
He's just too crazy strong.
The Milkman, he's around 6'3", and he's the way that I perceive him is he's a bit of an Andre Pushkar in just his aggressive side pressure hit from the go. The way that I see Lachlan, really, really strong guy, full of horsepower, making some tremendous gains over the last few years, particularly the last year. However, I still see Lockie as the type of puller, like the type of puller I generally am, is you have to gain something in the setup and off the go before you're ready to hit in your comfortable position. Lockie's going to be going for a hook, no doubt, but I don't think he's going to be able to drive straight through unless he's able to secure the position that he needs to be. Whereas Ryan's ready to hit off the go in that starting position. So regardless, I just have to favour Ryan for that simple fact, regardless of historical evidence of who's beat who. Until I see Ryan Scott beaten, I can't not back him. It's as simple as that.
We haven't really seen it. I think last time he was beaten was by the Beast. Yeah, 2019 Arnold's. But then that showed Ryan Scott can pull slow too.
Look, he can.
Which really fucking surprised me because I've never seen him get stopped, really.
Yeah. Well, at 2019 Arnold's, Ryan Scott lost the first match, which meant he went into the B draw, then worked his way back to Matt, and then he actually beat him in the second round without his wrist.
That's right.
And that was really impressive because I've never seen Ryan Scott do that. And Ryan Scott has a hook these days. People think he doesn't. No, he does. Brett Coots will tell you.
Never goes there because he doesn't have to.
Exactly right. Rumor is,
but hypothetically, Lachlan in a hook with Ryan, Lachlan gets it.
You'd have to favour Lachlan if it's where Lachlan wants to be.
Another thing to say as well is Lachlan's been training hits.
Yeah, he has.
We're probably going to see a hit.
Hit. That is true. The only thing I'll say is Ryan Scott doesn't post much training at all. So he has told people that he's feeling stronger than ever and that he's coming prepared and he's training his ass off. I just think that he doesn't post much of it, so people aren't aware of where he's at. But I don't doubt where he's at, which is in very good shape. I do have to give credit where credit's due. The hit training that Blue and Lockie's been doing has significantly heightened their ready goes. But I still can't see Lachlan contesting Ryan Scott into a ready go with a straight wrist. Blue might be able to get a few pins in training on Lockie as Lockie starts to gas out, but I can't see Ryan Scott falling victim to that. But it's going to be interesting,
I guess.
For sure. Look, I can't wait regardless. So what did you say? March? Did you say March 28th?
27th or 28th.
27th or 28th.
I think it's on a Saturday, so
we'll cover it as we get closer to it.
I might try to sneak up there too.
Yeah, I might actually try to get there as well. You did remind me.
Shit.
I might move some shit around, make a few phone calls, bro.
Oh fuck, bro.
Bob's your uncle. Your
We're
mum's
up
your dad.
there.
Bro, if you're there, how can I not go? Like, I've already missed Queensland. You want me to miss this? You're offending me now.
I wish you could just fucking live here, right? That's it.
That's
it. Why can't you just be fucking in the next room right now?
Don't threaten me with a good time, Cheech.
Won't make it out of the house alive, mate.
That's it, bro. Oh, shit.
Okay.
All right. Shall we move on to another topic that I've been eager to talk about?
Yeah, I can see you fucking sweating your balls off over there trying to talk about this shit.
Dubai.
No.
Dubai. Everyone's following this. Anyone that knows arm wrestling's got to be following this. If you're not following it, there's something wrong with you. Like, Larry Wheels has become the epicenter of arm wrestling promotion, has he not?
Yeah. Yeah, he's making the biggest strides in the fucking sport. He's got everyone from every league, anywhere, everywhere in that one spot.
He has. So anyone that's been following it knows Ermes Gasparini is over at the moment. Vitaly Lalatin. But what's interesting is they've all now moved to Turkey, whereby who else is there at the moment? Gennadi's there, Levan's there, Krasimir, Engin,
Vitaly, Sasha.
So many big names, and there's a lot of training and videos yet to come out, which I just want to see. But the one we mainly have to talk about until we move to the super matches that's just happened over the last day is just training, sparring with Ermes and Vitaly. Which
did you expect it,
bro? The conversation we had the other day was what's going to happen between these two, and we both said the same thing. Yeah. Vitaly's going to be too much. No, don't worry. Simple as that.
But when you saw Ermes just rock up on camera, I was like, oh shit. This guy's big, man.
He's a lot bigger than I remember when he versed him at Mask.
Hell yeah.
And deconspiracy argument, we know it's just training, but dude, regardless, Ermes showed that he has some crowns on him.
Yeah, but Vitaly didn't give me his fucking 1-2 special, man. He didn't fucking hit.
Yeah, in saying that though, Ermes had been pulling a lot the day before with Larry and all the Dubai guys, whereas I think that was Vitaly's first day in Dubai. And I'm not going to say that Ermes would be the favourite in a real match, which I would still pick Vitaly to win in a real match right now. But I honestly thought that Vitaly was going to do what he had pretty much done to everyone in training, is just play with him. You know, we saw Vitaly catch up.
No. Vitaly was a bit run down. He was versing...
Actually...
No, my apologies. I mucked up my timeline. Yeah. Forget about it.
That's all right. I forgive you.
Thanks.
Well, Vitaly recently caught up with Denis Siplankov and was toying with an out-of-form Denis. Yeah.
Okay.
The last 3 weeks, I'm going to say. Don't quote me.
Oh, shit. I didn't even see that.
But Denis had COVID. He'd just gotten over COVID and he hadn't trained for 3 or 4 weeks. He said he felt like crap. Regardless, Vitaly was looking really strong. So anyway, fast forward back to Dubai. Vitaly and Ermes had a really good match in training. So they exchanged some pins. There wasn't too much going on. It was probably a solid 5 minutes of training between them, stretched out.
Did you see Ermes' hand afterwards? The cunt went fucking red, almost purple.
Yeah.
From the pressure.
Yeah. I think Ermes surprised himself. There was a moment where he pinned Vitaly the second time. And because Ermes' English is a little broken, he only speaks a small amount of English. He's kind of like, wow, it's a dream.
It's a dream.
Which had me laughing.
Oh, he's so cool, man.
Yeah, he looks like an awesome bloke. I'd love to meet him one day.
Hell yeah. Just have him fucking hold you like an inch from the pad and just laugh at your face.
Yeah.
Do you reckon, that's my dream. Yeah, that's my dream.
Do you reckon he has a place in top 8?
Yeah, he's going to have a transition match with fucking God knows who.
Yeah.
But then if he goes in there, him and Ongabayev.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. Two top rollers.
Would he go under 95? No.
No, he'd be... The only thing I can see him doing is going Zloty, either under or over 105. If he goes under, I honestly think he'll clean it up, no worries.
Yeah.
And arguably he'd clean up 105. So who recently transitioned into top 8? Was it Krasi and...
It was Krasi and Dave.
What about Dmitry Silyov?
Did he have a transitional match?
I don't know.
You see, I'm unaware if that happened or not.
From memory, he won Zloty right-handed. He beat Krasi.
He did beat Krasi in the overalls, yeah.
So I don't know if he's going to be in top 8. But regardless, I don't know. I put Ermes mid-range and top 8. Potentially top 4. So yeah.
Shit. Is that in the supers too, in the opens?
Yeah, that's the supers top 8. Like, what was the order of placing in top 8? It was Levan, Vitaly, Prudnik, Dmitry Trubin.
Was it? Oh, because he did beat Babayev.
Yeah. I think Ermes would give a good match to Dmitry Trubin and Prudnik and potentially beat them. Because we know Ermes did have a close match with Dmitry Trubin, Zloty, back in 2017, I want to say. And I think he lost the first match and then won the second match. He
was so much lighter too.
He was. So I don't know what could happen. So I think he deserves a chance to compete in top 8. And I think what will follow is him getting in and giving some real trouble to some of these athletes. But regardless, what's happening in Dubai at the moment, it's awesome. It's keeping everyone entertained.
You know what's good? You know what's good too? It's blowing up their fucking subscriber count too.
Man, it's crazy.
Heaps. Yeah.
It is. And you know, like I think Devin recently said, all of these athletes are getting YouTube channels. Levan, Gennady, Ermes,
Marcio Barboza.
It's good. And you know, it's showcasing a bit of independence within arm wrestling.
That, you know, I think everyone's sick and tired of the bullshit that's going on with contracts.
For sure.
And the limitations, man.
COVID's always, you know, already ruining people's, you know, dreams at the moment. We just want something to look forward to. And if all of these athletes can start pushing themselves a bit more and taking control of their position in their sport, so be it. Let's do it.
Fuck yeah, that's probably the next step. I think a lot of people have said that's the next step.
Yeah.
Or Ryan for one, Devin for another.
Next thing you know, Andy and Mario are going to be cruising the world, talking shit.
Go to Dubai just to fucking get drunk with the boys.
That's it. Like, we're going to be the drunk corner men that, you know, top 8, Levan and Vitaly, we're going to be in their corners.
Bro, I'd steal the fucking sign of the showgirls and fucking do it myself.
First people to get banned from top 8.
Bro, like 5 minutes in, we're fucking out of there.
Oh, give the people what they want.
But it's the truth. That's what they want.
Yeah. Just one quick match I want to talk about that's just happened. Irakli and Sasho in Turkey.
Mm-hmm. Irakli got the first pin, didn't he?
Yeah, and then it all changed after that.
Just Sasho with his... what would you call that? Is that a hook or is that like a press? It's just like a drive.
I would just call it a deep hook, very side pressure orientated.
Yeah.
Because what tends to happen with people that deep hook, when they struggle to contain a low hand top roller's hand, they end up hooking with a straight wrist, which conceals itself as just side pressure as they're bringing their shoulder forward, which is what we saw with Sasha. After round 2 or 3, it was just so one-sided. And you know, everyone's been raving on about Irakli. He's been putting up some crazy numbers in the gym, whether it's seated curls, being able to hold Levan in training, and just, you know, I think people were really expecting Irakli just to shock the world, which, look, Sasha is I think he's probably the strongest arm wrestler pound for pound in the world right now, and has been for quite a number of years.
Yeah. Well, look, he's 90 kgs at the moment. He competed under 90s, yeah.
Really? I thought he was lighter.
Second to Zoloev, I think left and right last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think still pound for pound, Zolev's still got that title. But I think Sasha's just behind him too. Yeah,
interesting. Zoliev's one of those guys that he's been around for a long time, and he can, you know, he's beaten people twice his size. He's beaten arguably the best arm wrestlers of all time.
Just as a bit of a throwback, did you watch him versus, I think it was Arsen Leo? He catches him and he turns him in.
Crazy.
Bro, the guy's biceps is bigger than fucking Zolov. Like,
he's beaten Andrei Pushka a few times.
Yeah.
If you look up a video on YouTube, there's one, I think it's just called Zoliov, the Killer of Monsters or something like that.
Yeah, Killer of Giants. Or
Killer of
like
Giants, and it's just a compilation of him manhandling people a lot bigger than him, which
ridiculous.
I think is a really strong point for newcomers that are on the smaller end of the weight scale. You don't have to be a monster or a genetic freak to succeed in this sport.
Yeah.
We've seen it time and time again. Small guys can just do dangerous things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very good example.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else you want to bring up regarding Dubai or what's happening in Turkey?
No, man, not really. I mean, we just went over the matches.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Engin's match with, is it Dobriev?
I think it's, something like that. I'll have to double check.
Yeah.
I don't want to butcher his name. It just does a disservice to the athlete. But Engin did really well in that, so congrats to him. Sorry, I just want to touch on quickly, just to stir the pot, the Devon versus Engin.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Desperation move, mate.
Oh, mate, isn't Engin the fucking king of all king's movers?
Oh, man, there's some good stuff happening out of that. I honestly
think good memes out there, right?
There is. Like, I think people want to believe that there's some, tension between them, but I reckon behind closed doors, they're messaging each other like, yeah, let's just take the piss. Let's just see how far we can take this. They're loving it. They love each other. I don't care what anyone says. Devon respects him greatly. So
the things he said about him, man, it's like really, it's hard to think otherwise.
And if you don't know who Engin is, to anyone watching this, which to be fair, a lot of newcomers into the sport might not know him. Yeah, he honestly is the GOAT behind John Brzenk, and just pound for pound, one of the smartest and greatest arm wrestlers that's ever existed. So the IQ and what he has done and brings to the sport is unrivaled in my opinion. So as long as you don't do desperation moves,
he won't be on your case.
He won't be there to give you a shivvy.
That's good.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on.
What do we got?
Well, I don't know. I think I want to talk about, because I'm seeing a lot of posts in arm wrestling discussion and arm wrestling training. And there's a lot of newbies always asking the same question. How do I get stronger? And a lot of it, I get it. It comes from a place of wanting to learn.
Yeah, that's right.
But, we need to set a few things straight. There is no secrets to arm wrestling. You need to dedicate your time, take it seriously, train hard, and stay injury-free. If you can do all of those things, you're going to succeed eventually. It just goes down to your own motivations.
Yeah, there's no secret sauce.
When someone says, what's one move that I can do to beat everyone? There is no one exercise or move you can do to beat anyone. Seriously, it's laughable. So I want to ask you, being Papa Muzz, what's 5 exercises that are fundamental to arm wrestling? Now, the main moves are a hook, top roll, and a press, and desperation move. But what are 5 exercises that are kind of going to carry over to all of those moves and give someone those fundamentals to being a successful and competent arm wrestler? So just 5.
Well, first you have to identify what the fundamentals are. So
to me, the fundamentals are hook, pronation, radial deviation, so rising.
Yeah.
And if you want to go further, internal rotation. Less important, but still important moves are then going to be ulnar deviation and supination, because supination does complement, internal rotation, side pressure, and ability to flex the elbow. But yeah, so I would say flexion of the fingers and wrist independently, they need to be worked on and in conjunction. Pronation is so important, wrist rise or post. And yeah, internal rotation. So what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. But you're missing one key.
What's the one key, bro?
Back pressure, bro.
Of course.
Back pressure.
Lat drag?
Nah, not lat drag. We're talking. Oh, to explain it's a little bit difficult. It's the ability to not have your forearm leave your bicep.
Yeah. Well, I kind of
separate from your bicep.
I kind of group that in with post. So if you start quite tight, and I, it's essentially the range of motion, or not the range of motion, but the movement of a hammer curl, but it's more of an isometric movement. If you can withstand and keep that tension and distance between your arm and your shoulder without separating, I can't see you losing the back pressure or back pressure battle.
Yeah. So I just remember Giannis, when he came down, he made sure he drilled that into our heads.
For sure.
He came down and did our seminar.
Yeah.
Back pressure. pressure.
So just like
it's essentially like a shoulder tuck.
Yeah.
For him, it's essentially like a shoulder tuck.
Yeah. So there's a newbie arm wrestler who wants to know 5 specific exercises that he can just start doing to be a better arm wrestler. What do we tell him?
We're talking wrist curls, and that's not full range of motion through the fingers, I believe. The barbell should sit just inside the knuckle here, and then you're moving it essentially just this much.
Yep.
Well, that's me personally.
Yeah.
I feel that's one essential exercise.
Yep. Yep.
You go for a second.
I mean, for me, if it's going to be finger orientated as well as wrist in a cupping motion, it's going to be a 50 to 70 mil spinning handle. Yeah. And it's going to be full range of motion, but nothing past that negative or that 180 degrees. I believe when you're learning to arm wrestle, you should be practicing full ranges of motion. And then as you start to refine yourself and become more experienced and conditioned, then you can start to really isolate and change the way your arms to a degree where, it's such micro movements to achieve what you want because you're already strong enough in those full ranges where when it comes to a match, now we're just specifying just those tiny movements where we want to be the absolute strongest. So yeah, I reckon just on a cable machine with a spinning handle, full ranges of motion with pauses as you get into that 90 degrees of flexion. That to me, if you can do that, you can start to specify after and refine and add some stupid weight eventually. But yeah, just get the fundamentals down is what I think.
Yeah. It's all about form and it's all about form and technique, really. Yeah.
I mean, look,
weight's not essential. No. Like stupid amount of weights.
Well, that's another thing is a lot of us have, to some degree, in our, whether it's arm wrestling or just gym career, we've trained in some stupid ways, hurt ourselves because we weren't smart, ego lifting, just not being educated in what we want to do. And the longer I've been in the sport, the more I've started to realize you don't need to train heavy. And if anyone says you really need to train heavy, and when I say heavy, I mean training your 80 to 100% every week, it's just ridiculous. So yeah,
unnecessary.
It's not, and you're just gonna, you're gonna feel worse, you're gonna feel more sore, fatigued, and it's gonna stop you from making more gains along the way. So if you can achieve what you want to within a sensible weight and rep range, you're going to go further, in my opinion. So
yeah, absolutely.
Plus you'll stay more injury free on average. I've had enough injuries, I'm over them. Train smart, not hard.
Far out. Yeah, you have had a few injuries, now that I remember. Shit.
What can I say? But yeah, another exercise which I currently do and I'm really rating at the moment which thank you to Coach Ray, has got me into these. Just anything supinated and side pressure orientated. So whether it's a judo belt or a towel, you wrap around your hand so it's attacking your supination. So the towel or judo belt is going to be wrapped around and then pointing this way. So you have to supinate, neither to contain. And you're going to be doing a mixture of internal rotation and side pressure, but you're not doing internal rotation towards you. You're just bringing the humerus into slight internal rotation like that.
Mm-hmm. So hand stays static.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. It's a very small supinated movement within the hand or wrist.
And I'm guessing you feel your pec flare up because of that movement.
To some degree, but it's because you're staying so tight, it's mainly on your inner elbow.
Okay, nice.
So it's one of those exercises that start off light, you'll injure yourself very quickly if you go too heavy. But one thing it really helps you with is getting comp ready, because it allows you to feel strong in the center of the table where matches start. And this is where a lot of people fail, in my opinion. They're strong, in training, they get where they want to, and they'll train really hard and they'll feel really strong, and it gives them a false sense of security and hope that they're going to kill it in the comp. And then as soon as their wrists are straightened out and they're taken slightly out of their grooves, they just get steamrolled. And they're like, what the hell am I doing wrong? You need to practice as if you're starting for a comp. That is the best way you're going to get, comp ready, in my opinion.
Agreed, man.
So yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. What about strap pronation training?
That's that's something that not a lot of people talk about. And this is something that even athletes fall victim to. The ability to pronate out a strap so well, and as soon as the straps are applied, everything's over. In the early days with Matt Mask, you'd see him be able to top roll so well out of straps. And then as soon as he goes into straps, anyone with some slight containment within cup and side pressure could just drive into the pad, no worries. Jordan Seal at Arm Wars was able to do that as soon as the straps were applied, which there shouldn't be such a big discrepancy between your out of straps game and in straps game. If that's the case, you need to address it immediately. No questions asked. Otherwise, Papa Muzz is going to come for you.
Fucking just stand over them while they're fucking asleep.
Yeah. Gonna bowl them with a gym
with a strap in my hand and a fucking gym.
Bro. But yeah.
Oh.
So what do you think about, strap pronation pulling?
It's essential, man. Yeah. Absolutely. 100%.
But to someone who doesn't understand, how do you train your pronation in straps?
Well, so for me, what the most essential part of beginning strapped up with someone is applying as much tension as possible to the bottom of the strap, located at the bottom, or just, I think it's an inch off your wrist.
Yeah.
Legally.
Yeah.
So from there, you just, to replicate that, judo belt, wrap it around your hand, then around your wrist at that same spot, or probably just at your wrist if you want a better effect. Parallel to the floor, like a hammer curl, you're doing these. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
To me, that's one of the most essential exercises. And you see Ongabayev doing 60 kilos with the reps like that.
He's another stupidly strong guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And what that does as well is stop you from getting turned over in the match, just like that. Yeah. Yeah. Secures it. Secures the pronation.
For sure. Well, I can say one of my biggest holes at the moment, which I'm filling in, is my pronation. I'm addressing all of my numbers in certain lifts, and my pronation is falling behind the rest, which granted, I've never emphasized it as much as I have other lifts.
Yeah, you were a hook puller through and through.
Yeah.
From what I remember, all your matches, over the years.
Yeah. And when you're a supination based hooker, you tend to pronate less and less. And you tend to put more.
You didn't even finish matches in it, like pronating through someone at the end of a hook, or like at the bottom of the pin pad. You sort of just drove as hard as you could with a bit of shoulder, right?
Yeah.
Essentially muscled your way into the win.
Yeah, depending on the arm. I mean, my left and right arm pull quite differently.
Okay.
But I definitely had more rotation in my right hook than I did my left.
Yeah.
But the way that I used to pull on my left was very shoulder forward, supinated, and just side pressure. Whereas my hook on my left now is becoming more pronation orientated. So especially when I'm pulling guys in training at House of Pain, it's a case of just, holding, and it's the hand control and back pressure game. And then I'm learning to hook at the back of the pad instead of coming forward. So that's a slow evolution.
It sounds like it's just healthy on the elbows and the shoulders.
When you're hooking people like Brett Coots and you're going deep and deep and deep, it's just ugly trying to contain that week in, week out. You're just asking for injuries. So,
What's the last exercise, man? What's the last exercise?
Wrist rise. So a judo belt or a band over the top of your knuckles. Mm-hmm. And Devin will praise this as well. It's so important. If you're not low hand top rolling, there is no reason for your wrist to do this. You should always be fighting for that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As soon as this breaks, you're stopping your body from engaging in a number of ways. Not to mention that you're putting yourself at more of a risk of an injury if you try to hammer curl or post with your wrist down.
Yeah. I've seen people get nerve damage or
especially when people start pressing down over the top of it. Michael Todd's abused his arms in that respect. I'm pretty sure that Michael Todd doesn't even have feeling in certain parts of his right arm.
I remember he spoke to Devin on the stream, and he said he gets a lot of pins and needles through his fingers.
Yeah, which
I can't remember which ones, if it was the top two or the bottom two.
Yeah, and I don't want to say anything bad about Michael Todd, but I hope that he does or has addressed a lot of these issues, because in my line of work, I'm studying to be an osteopath. And you shouldn't have to just accept that you have pins and needles in your arm for life. That is not something that you settle for by any means. And by settling for it, you're accepting that it's going to deteriorate and potentially get worse. So the earlier that he actually gets it looked at and addressed, the better it will be for him. So I hope that he's addressing it.
It's awesome, man.
But so what do you reckon, Muzz? Have people had enough of us yet?
I think this is our longest episode, out of the 2 episodes. It was good. There was a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
We're just catching up with the events of the week, and that's what we plan to do.
Yeah, exactly right. For sure. Yeah.
And put Australian names out there.
That's it. Any other names we want to quickly bring up before we conclude?
Rodin. What's his name? I just know him as Rody from Gold Coast Club.
Rodian?
He's also known as the Ukrainian Killer.
Yeah, he had an awesome match in Queensland.
He did. His timing, execution.
So good.
Just everything was fucking perfect.
We can always, I reckon we'll come back to him next week, give him a bit of credit.
Yeah.
Where credit's due.
Absolutely.
But all right. I reckon we'll leave it there, our fellow bros and brolettes.
Oh, that's right.
That's it.
Bro.
So, bro.
Oh.
All right. Let's
sign off.
See you on the flip side. See you next week, guys.
See you next week.
Hit like and subscribe. See you then.